You talked about the different barriers and challenges that are inherent to life, basically, and that, all those barriers and challenges have helped you really move forward and mentor yourself and keep moving along. So I wonder if is there something that you think that over the course of your career or in the beginning of your career you could have done differently to just approach things differently, just to do something different to move ahead?
Could I have done things differently? Absolutely. But looking back on it now, it was perfect. It was perfect the way that it was. Every single challenge, every angst, every stomach churning, horrifying moment of what am I doing? I don't know what I'm doing. How do I do this? Why am I doing this? Every single moment actually was perfect in how it helped me get to where I am now. So I have actually learned to have a lot less of those moments, and I think had I not had so many, I might have still been having them now.
So there's no decision that you could say, I would have just done it differently.
I maybe would have gone away to college instead of going to school in the city, but I don't know that that would have had any major impact. I've been very fortunate. Even with the challenges that have presented themselves to me, I've always been able to come out on the other side with something positive because of it. And I think part of that is managing expectations about others
Yes.
and for yourself.
Mm-hmm. And this is like my second question, or not a question, but just a comment, is that I really like what you said about Curious George, because I used to babysit when I went to college, and I used to read Curious George, and I really like it. But I think beyond how funny Curious George was and how he wanted to, go around what he was supposed to do and get in trouble, I think one thing that I like about Curious George is that he was persistent and he was consistent and he kept going after what he wanted to do.
Absolutely.
So that's something that is a key takeaway from that story.
And I think as we have that all as children, and I think as we get older and life throws stuff at us, it's something that we tend to lose or underappreciate, where a lot of times people are confronted with a situation of, oh, yes or no, vanilla chocolate, or yes, green or red. And sometimes we limit ourselves with those choices rather than saying, okay, if it's truly only black and white and I choose black and it's not really a positive outcome, then I can choose again. And I think that that's something that, going back to the Curious George thing, it was like, yeah, he wanted it, he kept going. And sometimes we stop ourselves because we're always going to confront challenges and people who are negative or don't believe or are going to question. But if you have that persistence and actually the commitment to yourself to say, I'm going to try no matter what, it's going to work out.
And I think also the willingness to take risks.
Oh, there's no question about that.
Yes, Curious George just went for it, and he had something in mind and he did it.
He didn't worry about whether he was going to get in trouble or not.
Yeah.
And I think that as we get older, the stakes get higher, and then we worry about outcome. And that's not to say that you should be cavalier or irresponsible in taking care of yourself, but there are times when we are too cautious and it becomes limiting.
Thank you so much for being here this evening.
My
and
pleasure.
sharing
Thank you
so
for the
much of your
invitation.
awesomeness. Please, round of applause.